a foot injury and will miss some time. And we've been monitoring the situation all day. If you want to call in and talk, maybe you've talked to Jay Martin Ramon or Buck about it, you want to talk to us, we are here. We are here to talk you through the whole afternoon. This, as Lucas Panzica said, the most recent thing that has come out, Ian Rappaport rap sheet saying Derrick Henry will have foot surgery tomorrow, which Mike Vrabel said in his media availability. Here's the number per rap sheet, 6 to 10 weeks he will be out. 6 would be quite fast, he said. 8 is more likely. Either way, Tennessee expects him to be back this season. So for everybody saying, okay, we get it that he's hurt. Oh, my gosh, what are we going to do now? Well, this is rap sheet saying the probability is that he will be back this season. They have 9 games left. They haven't had a bye week, so there are 10 games left in the season before the playoffs would start. I will say this, Blaine, and you're our resident physician, so we count on you for all this stuff. Just before we finish this first segment, I want you to talk about this because you played in one. What's going on in the locker room? Because, people are just panicking around town. What's going on in the locker room?
Absolutely nothing.
Business as usual?
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely nothing. I mean, you can only do what you can do and control what you can control. Now, will they have to play better as a team? Yeah, absolutely. That's going to happen. Everybody's going to have to raise their game up. But there's no individual person say, "Oh, I have to do more."
Right.
Well, if you weren't doing more before, you can't do any more now. So so it's up to the organization to figure out the plan and move forward, and then you rally around whatever that plan is.
Right.
For the running back position, whether it's running back by committee, you bring somebody in, maybe you change a little bit of some of the things that you do, but you don't change who you are. Everybody, I'm watching ESPN and I love, what's the quarterback's name?
Orlovsky.
Yeah, he does a good job, but, I don't think you lose your identity. I think he got it wrong, and it's easy to say that completely. Your identity is we run the football. You don't change that because then now you would do exactly what Frank Reich did in the game they just played in. You put it all on Carson Wentz, and then that's what'll happen. Now you're throwing 54 times, and then you're going to make mistakes. He's going to do something silly and dumb. So I think you stick with who you are. You don't try to make them Derrick Henry. There is not another Derrick Henry. We know that. But you stick to what your plan is in style. Maybe you implement some things that fix their style of running a little bit better. But I think you stick with who you are. You're physical, smashing them out. You just probably won't have the breakaway runs like, the King. And to think that he's going to be back this season for that kind of injury for a guy who plants and breaks a lot, I would say not. I would, if he's back in the playoffs, Yahoo, and I want to be 100% sure if I'm the head coach that my stud running back is there's no question if he went back out there. It's always a chance that he could re-injure it. But those injuries, I've known players with those injuries. They've come back in 6, 8, 10 weeks and re-injure it. Then they have to go back in there and put another rod in there on the 5th metacarpal. Basically, it's your pinky foot, on your hand. Let's say your pinky on your hand was out there on your foot.
Yep.
And so it's a finicky injury, and that unpredictable on how, guys come back. It's really unpredictable. Even if he feels great, sometimes it just don't work out and has to go get fixed. Good example of that is Mixon, I think the running back for the Bengals, had it last year. He looks like he's come back and looks like no issue, right? But he had a whole offseason, how much time he missed in the season. And I don't know when he actually got the injury. We had Javon Curse have the injury. We had Yancey Thigpen have the injury. There's some guys that have had different training staff. Technology is a little bit better and things what you do to it. But Thigpen really never recovered because he got it twice because he came back and then he re-injured it. It broke the rod in there, and then they had to go back and fix it again. It's one that you say we're gonna err on the side of caution, and we got to move forward and see where we're gonna go. I know they're saying they're working out Adrian Peterson,
as a report this morning.
Who could somewhat be a similar role as Henry in that he's just a runner and maybe get screens type, player at this point of his career. So that's I kind of like the Dante Foreman. I like what I saw in him last year. I think you don't have to change anything, kind of mix and maybe pick up the carries with McNichols a little bit. But I want to keep McNichols in that role if you can. Don't make him the number one guy. Keep him there and just give him, a couple more drives and series. Then now you may catch defenses off guard because they're now not gonna put 8 guys in the box. But I would, because I think Vrabel's going to stick to who he wants his identity, his team to be, and that's to run the football, regardless of who is at running back.
Mm-hmm.
If you have an elite one, you're definitely going to do it.
Yeah.
But this is the style that you want. You can't just change your style of who you are in the middle of a season. So what are you going to do now? Spread it out and throw it around? Yeah, you may could do it for a game or two to get by. But you got to figure out ways to win games, and I think they're going to stick with what they know. Don't try to be something that you're not. I like Foreman. I like even the kid for Tampa Bay, Jones. He's a little different style back.
Ronald Jones.
But, you don't go crazy. Good for the Titans in that if it happened before the trade deadline. And do you really want to trade for a running back? That's, what are you giving up? Or is this a rental? Can you get by with guys that are out there? Especially the way this, offensive line run blocks. I don't know if I would do it. I mean, there's some guys out there too. T.J. Yeldon. There's some good solid running backs out there. You can find some. You don't have to trade. I mean, if they wanted to trade, like if you're gonna go all in and trade, then see what's up with Melvin Gordon. He can catch and run. Been in rotation. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So yeah. Unfortunate though. It's Debbie Downer over a huge win over the Colts. That was an up and down roller coaster, exciting game to watch, and then for the Titans to play and beat 3 AFC, really good teams in a row. So something we haven't seen in a long time, really. So that was exciting, but man, our bubble was busted with the King. We all know the King is the team.
Just the unquestioned best player on the team, the unquestioned MVP of this team. A guy who literally we were wondering why wasn't he getting more MVP consideration. Amazing thing, I think I saw the stat from Emily Proud. From the first time they looked at him and took off his shoe and looked at him, he had 26 carries after that. So he played, 26 of his carries on whatever this is going on with his foot that they're fixing.
I mean, but that doesn't amaze me, being that I've been on that field. That doesn't amaze me, though, because your adrenaline is high. You think you can fight through it. You actually don't know a lot about injuries as a player. You think, remember I told you I broke my forearm? I thought it was a bruise.
Yeah.
Well, he probably thought I felt like somebody just stepped on my foot real hard.
Yep.
He probably, I can manage through it just a little uncomfortable when I step and I run. That's not surprising that he had those carries afterwards at all. For a guy that's as good as he is, and it's tough. So, yeah, unfortunately, you will never know. Oh, if he would have stopped it, would have kept the injury from getting anywhere. Well, once you had the injury, you have the injury. So it didn't look like it was, bothering him to a point where he was limping out there. It didn't look like he was limping. He may not have that other gear you wanted him to have, or, I didn't see the injury actually when it happened initially. I even went back and watched the game today, and I still
couldn't
can't
find it.
Maybe there and maybe here, but I thought the Colts did a great job of tackling. Might have been on par with the Jets and where they were tackling. That could have been because Henry was, a little nicked up, but at the time we don't know that.
So the other guys that they have Jeremy McNichols on the roster. They have Mekhi Sargent and Dontrell Hilliard on the practice squad. That's because, as we talked about yesterday a whole lot, Darrington Evans went on IR for the second time, so he's done.
Yeah, that's what you said.
So, and we were going off the air yesterday, and we were discussing, not even knowing. I mean, we knew that Derrick Henry was beat
Titans
up.
Radio after the Titans, yeah.
So we're finishing up the postgame show, Blaine and Kevin Dyson and me, and we were just saying, gosh, what if he's nicked up a little bit? You go and
maybe he misses a game or two is what we kind of,
Because we literally discussed that scenario. He didn't quite look like himself, didn't have his burst. What if they need somebody for a couple of games? Well, the trade deadline's tomorrow, and, we came up with the name Deontay Foreman, who had been here last year and
who's out on the market.
He's
not even
just at home. He played 6 games for the Titans last year. We were really this guy was a third-round pick out of Texas.
Oh, yeah. He slimmed down and played for the Texans.
Yes, from Texas to the Texans.
He was with the Falcons this past preseason, and Man, I thought he would have a shot, especially in that system there that he knows with Arthur Smith, but didn't work out. Hey, man. A lot of people going to love the name, big name, AP. They're going to love AP. And, hey, bring him in here and see how he looks. What is he, about 36 or so?
He's 36.
So
it's 600 yards for the Lions last year. I don't think people even knew he was on the Lions last year.
Oh, I thought he had 704. I thought somebody tweeted. I might have mixed
He had 604 rushing yards and 100 receiving yards.
Okay.
So at 704 or so
the ball. He's
total yards. Yeah. I mean, he does. Here's a 36-year-old guy who does. He's very similar.
Who's another freak of nature just at the end.
Yes, he is. There you go.
That's what he is. And does he have enough to finish off and help you get to where you're trying to get to? So I wouldn't be opposed to that. I probably would bring in a couple guys, but I wouldn't give up a lot of equity in draft picks and stuff like that. Not at running back. Now, they may believe that they can get by with the guys they have by committee. Whether it's McNichols, Sargent, or the Hilliard kid. I don't know. I don't know much about Hilliard as well as Sargent, what we saw in preseason, who I thought ran really hard. So running back is one of those positions that it translates even if you're like a practice squad player or a guy that you were sitting at home on the streets, because you can't teach running. You either know how to do it or not at running back in the National Football League. So it's the protections and things of that nature that are hard for the running back to transition. But when it comes to just running the football, it's an instinctive deal and where it's intended to go, and you just try to play off of that. So I think you can transition a guy like that from practice squad for spot duty. Yeah. I think for people to make fun of people that are on a practice squad, it's really – and think that they can't play. Well, Maben was on the practice squad. You thought he was good enough he started. Yeah, well, the guys are capable. Not to say that they're capable to be Derrick Henry. Let's not get that confused. Nobody is capable of being him. But can they, in sparing times, hold the fort till you figure out how you want to go about this? Whether it's a guy like AP to Dante Foreman, a guy sitting at home, or a trade for somebody else that you give up a little bit. So, which I wouldn't do, but it's a running back. I think you can get by with a running back. I think, the guys are going to step up or Tannehill and Julio Jones, really. At the end of the day, that's it. Everybody else just got to do their job. Got to find other ways to win. And you're still going to stick with who you are. Guess what? Now a lot of teams are probably going to play a lot of, let's say, 2 deep. Let's just keep it basic, not 8 men in the box.
Right.
Well, guess what? Maybe you'll still be able to run with the running backs you have. Oh, and then maybe it'll make your third downs a little bit easier because now you're at 3rd and 4 and 5, just like you would have been with Derrick Henry. You just didn't use one guy to get there. You use multiple guys. You use the running back. You use a sharp passing game with the tight end. Or maybe Julio Jones, because he's a big target. It's hard to get him down, and some shorter routes. Find other ways to manipulate and do the things that he did just from a team perspective and not just a one-guy perspective. And that's not easy to figure out, by the way. But I think they can with the offense they have. I think they can, and the players they have.
Sure.
Gotta get Julio healthy though.
I mean, you're paying him all that money to do something. Okay, let's see it now. They need you.
Well, I'm glad you said it just like that. Just because we need you don't mean you're healthy all of a sudden.
I know.
And that's what happens is pressure busts pipes.
Yeah.
And they press to get you out there sooner than later. And that's how guys don't get healthy and play the way they need to play.
Well, let's hope that he's ready sooner than later, though, for sure, that hamstring. We're going to do our Ding Dong of the Week segment. Mark Spain sponsors that. We'll do that coming up. We'll also continue to take phone calls, 615-737-1045. You want to talk about any of this? Who do you want him to trade for? Heck, let us know. Do you not want him to trade for anybody? What's the best case scenario to you for the Titans now that the news is Derrick Henry will miss anywhere from 6 to 10 weeks? That is per Ian Rappaport. Will have surgery tomorrow on his foot. We're going to be talking about it all day. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone.
From city streets to back roads. From road warrior to carpooler. There are some things you can always count on. Like the reliability, durability, and power of Die Hard. America's most trusted auto battery. No matter where your journey takes you, count on Die Hard to get you started on the road ahead. Available at your local Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest stores.
For the ones who are always in the know.
Delivery confirmed.
For the ones who keep things running. For the innovators and the problem solvers. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, experienced staff at local branches, and free access to experts to help answer your toughest questions. So whatever challenge you face, we have the knowledge and products to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Buying a car can be stressful. who they might or might not trade for. There's a bunch of trade targets that have been thrown out there.
Who are those guys? I saw Schefter had a whole bunch.
Tevin Coleman, David Johnson, or Philip Lindsay. Coleman is with the Jets. Johnson and Philip Lindsay are both with the Texans. They've got every running back in the nation, it seems like. Tyson Williams, who's with the Ravens. Melvin Gordon, although most people are saying he'd be off limits. They're still playing for a lot, but his name's been thrown out there. Ronald Jones of the Bucs seems like a pretty prominent name. You mentioned him off the top of the show. Mike Davis with the Falcons is a name that I've seen. Rashad Penny of Seattle is a name that I've seen. I've seen Cordero Patterson or Mike Davis of I said Mike Davis already. Cordero Patterson, also a name, possibly. Yeah.
Man, that's a positive deal they got going with him.
Yeah. Oh, he's probably off limits, but I have at least seen him on a wish list. I think it was one of the Broadway sports guys who had mentioned Cordero Patterson. Rap Sheet says the Titans are actually working out Adrian Peterson. He's 36. He played for the Lions last year. He was 156 carries for 604 yards. He had 7 touchdowns, and he was 12 for 107 receptions. He's 35 then, so 36 now, Adrian Peterson.
For 10 games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about
I think he played in every game.
Oh, he played in every game.
Yeah.
Okay. What is where's the other old guy? Frank Gore. Is he with anybody this year? I mean, man, he's played forever. He would never go away. He's kind of a guy that could fit in a little bit too. You want to go old?
Yeah, he is definitely old. But dude is one of the 3 people walking the earth. Frank Gore has 16,000 rushing yards. He's got more rushing yards than Adrian Peterson, who's 14 and change. Frank Gore.
Yeah. And
he's
AP
just
is
piled up yards.
5th all time?
I think he's 3rd now.
Oh, 3rd.
He's exactly 16,000 rushing yards. Played for the Jets last year.
Yeah, so there's options.
He's 38.
May not be Frank Gore.
He had more rushing yards than Adrian Peterson last year. He had 653.
Rushing, yes.
He had 653 rushing.
Yeah, both of them will be fresh, but I'm not real big on the names this time. I'm about production, so they at least did production last year, probably in some tough situations, which is, pretty good. They still got something, but I probably, this is a tough one. AP or Frank Gore, if you don't go that route, man, I'm still Dante Foreman, man. I like what I saw. He won't even give it a sniff. He may be out of shape. I have no idea since he hasn't been anywhere since training camp.
Yeah. I mean, he's a free agent. It would cost you essentially nothing to bring him in. You don't have to trade for him. It costs you no assets to acquire him.
Yeah, he was all right last year, man. I like what I saw.
Well, a plane ticket to get him in here and look at him, I would absolutely do that.
If he's in shape, at least.
See what kind of shape he's in for sure. Let's take some of these phone calls on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline.
If they got any suggestions, too, let us know, because hey, man, we're baffled here, too. And a lot of people talking about Tony Pollard from the Memphis kid that's with the Cowboys. I don't think that's going to happen, but, man, I just don't know if the Titans are willing to give up picks for a running back, a rented running back, too, at that.
Yeah, probably just try to mine every other possibility first. Work out Foreman, and Rap Sheet reported that the Adrian Peterson workout is a go. So, I mean, literally, they're looking at guys who are not currently in the league.
I said work out for him. I don't know if that's what they're going to do.
Yeah. But again, all it costs you is a plane ticket to get him in,
Yeah. I mean, it seems easy, but.
Yeah. Well, maybe he's in good shape. Joey in Nashville, maybe he's in good shape. Joey, thanks for calling Blaine and Mickey.
Hey, man, how you guys doing?
Doing all right. How are you?
Doing really good.
Good, man. I'm pretty good.
Awesome.
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you. This whole Derrick Henry thing, it's got me flustered, too. On one hand, it sucks, but on another hand, it gives us another option, too. And I think with Tannehill, he's getting more comfortable in the pocket. Yeah, he's taking a lot of sacks lately, but I think he's getting a little more comfortable in the pocket. And if our receivers just keep connecting with them, I think we will do okay without Derrick Henry. I hate to say that, and I love him to death. He's one of the best running backs we've had. I would probably say, what's his name? Throw me a bone here.
What, quarterback or running back?
He was breaking up the whole time we lost him. I had a hard time understanding. Sorry about that. You were breaking up, and we couldn't hardly understand you. Let's give Connor in Nashville a shot. Maybe we'll be able to hear him a little bit better. Connor, thanks for calling Blaine and Mickey.
What's going on, guys?
Hey.
Hey, first off, Blaine, you probably remember me from your son's days at Brentwood. But anyway, if I'm the Titans, I don't think trading for a running back would make sense, because that running back would know he's a rental and he'd probably be gone next season. I think Adrian Peterson will make sense. I think he's like sixth all time NFL rushing leader. But there is one name that I've thought about all day. Somebody who's sat at home. He's gotten himself prepared all year. He had a couple of hiccups over the past couple of seasons. But if you're the Titans, what do you think about Todd Gurley? Do you think you bring Todd Gurley in here? And Blaine, you mentioned the injury would be 6 to 10 weeks, so Todd Gurley could get us through the rest of the regular season, and there is still a chance that Henry could be back in time for the playoffs.
Todd Gurley.
Well, first of all, I would if I'm coaching, I'm going to assume that Derrick Henry is not playing this season. That's where I'm going. That's just how you got to.
You got to work like that now, don't you?
You have to work like that, and hopefully you're wrong, and that he can be back at some point in time during the season, whether it's in the playoffs or what have you. So that's kind of the framework I would have, because I want to make sure my star-studded running back is healthy, and I'm not going to force the issue. Even if he says he's ready, I may wait another week or two.
Yeah.
That's just how I'm going to approach that. Now, what were you saying about, who did he say? Oh, Gurley.
Todd Gurley.
How good did Gurley do his last year with the Falcons? He was with the Falcons, wasn't he?
He was.
I would be nervous that he's just not. He's still, that knee is still lingering. He never was the same. At least you know with AP and Gore, if you're going to go veteran guy, they're pretty durable. At least, they're straight line guys. Haven't had any issues with the injuries. Gurley hasn't been right since he had the knee injury, really. I mean, he is a special talent. When he was, oh my gosh,
he was 190.
Remember he was here. He hurdled somebody, and
I remember.
it was
That guy was
was off the charts.
He was Rookie of the Year in 2015. He had 2 Pro Bowls, 2017, 2018. Heck, he scored 17 touchdowns in 2018. 2019 with the Rams, 857 yards. Then, as you said, 2020 with the Falcons, he played in 15 games, 195 carries, 678 yards. 9 touchdowns for Todd Gurley. Caught 25 passes for 164 yards. So a little more productive, a little more than Frank Gore or Adrian Peterson.
And then last year he didn't play at all?
No, that was 2020 in Atlanta, yeah. And this year, out there.
Just haven't heard his name come up a lot. I just don't know where he's at mentally and shape-wise. It seems like he's done. I mean, he hasn't been mentioned. A guy who with that kind of talent was good. Even when you drop off, people are still talking, hey, we can bring him in later down the road. That one there, that was a tough one. I have to actually see him work out, and we're gonna go deep, and I'm gonna work him. Let's see if he's ready, because he's a special player, and he's still young to a certain extent at running back.
He's only 27 years old.
Yeah.
Just turned 27 a couple months ago.
And that tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah.
He fell off quick.
Oh.
And I don't like that. That makes me nervous. Why? There's something going on there. Even I thought, okay, he's going to go with the Falcons, pretty much kind of like a home team. He played at Georgia. You'd think he'd be pumped up. And he was, he played solid, but he never could recapture what he was. And that's bad, because he was competing against himself. I mean, at the end of the day, which you show he had still a solid season last year, just by the stats. Not bad. I didn't think he did well at all. I didn't even recall that. I wasn't watching the Falcons, though, but there's some guys out there, though. So, yeah, keep, calling in and, give us some ideas of what you think the Titans should do. But I think they're going to go by committee. Mm-hmm. I don't think you change who you are. You may throw the ball a little bit more. You may, get the tight ends involved a little bit more in the passing game. But you still got to stick with who you are. Maybe maybe you run, because now there are options to run. When I say that, I'm talking about maybe most teams now won't play you like it's Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
And they'll play you straight up, and maybe cover 2 is out there. And then now all of a sudden you have one less guy in the box. The running game continues to have some success to a certain extent. So you have to fill that out as a coordinator. How are teams approaching you now? Because who you're playing against is actually the coordinators and Vrabel's style and what they want to do. And he still wants to run the football. I don't think they're going to get around that. Teams who scout him, they just don't have the, elite great one, the king.
And Vrabel said today, hey, we're not going to start throwing it around 45 times a game. And I looked, since Ryan Tannehill's been the starting quarterback, they've only had 5 games where he had 40 or more attempts. They're going to do what they do.
Well, Henry was in the backfield, by the way, at that time.
Yeah.
You may lean on him a little bit more, but don't think that you can get away with doing that every freaking game.
It feels like you're getting killed with the current state of this O-line.
By the way, he took a couple of shots there.
He did.
You feel a little sore today.
Yeah, his neck snapped a little bit late in that game, and he stayed out there. And that was my next door neighbor when I was a kid used to call that a slobber knocker. I mean, that was just a heavyweight fight that went into overtime again. 3 overtimes this team has played.
Yeah.
So 17 games they're going to play, and they've already played essentially 3 extra
they're
periods.
playing 18.
Yeah, well, they are. Yeah, I mean, they are because they played 3 more quarters, basically. You're right. You said that yesterday on the post game.
Yeah, this is tough. To the caller who's talking about they have, they can throw the ball more and you rely on Tannehill. Well, I mean, if you watch the Titans, I mean, A.J. Brown had 11 targets. He caught the ball 10 times for 155. The next person got targeted 5 times and only caught 4 balls, and that was
tight end.
Yeah.
Soccer.
Yeah. So it's just like Julio is the linchpin here. He's just, I mean, they need it. Because now, guess what? If you can't run the football, now they double A.J. Brown. Some other people are going to have to step up. I think Julio, they're not going to double A.J. Brown. They're not going to do it, man. His reputation, and he still has got enough to take over games. I know we haven't seen it. We have not. But we've seen glimpses. So we just got to keep him on the field. I know that's easier said than done. The coach is trying everything they can, trying to rest him in at times throughout a game, unless you're out, still in the game. But fourth quarter, they're trying to hold him back. So it's going to be a tough task. But just think, athletes look at this as a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of the players on the Titans are looking at this as a challenge, offense and defense, special team, and rise up and show, we can still win without him. I mean, he's our guy, but we can still win. They'll come out fired up, trust me. There is no, one player that makes an NFL team. It's just impossible. Those linemen didn't block. Henry couldn't get any yardage.
Yeah.
Now, is a regular running back, would he have taken it 80? Probably not.
Yeah.
Might have only got 40. So that's the difference. They still have a really good offensive line run blocking for sure. So, I think they got a shot.
Let's get Eric in Spring Hill up next. Eric, thanks for calling Blaine and Mickey. Appreciate it.
Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
Good.
Good. Hey, so I think we should stick with Mekhi Sargent, give him a chance, and then go ahead and sign AP and have him in a supporting role. And then, like you said, Blaine, we put McNichols. Keep giving him the touches that that you were talking about. Maybe a couple more, but that's all I got. So,
yeah.
Thank you, Eric.
It sounds like that's what they're thinking. And if you see AP, I mean, he's a human specimen too now, just like the King. He just got a little more tread on the tires. So that's probably, I mean, with them having him work out so quickly and that name to get out there, trust me, that's about his agent. But I wouldn't be opposed to that one. I'd probably bring in a couple guys, to be honest, to work out. I would have 3 guys. 2 of them, I'm thinking, okay, we like one of these 2, but I'm bringing in 3 that I all like, and then I'm all having them work out together so I can see them side by side.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want to see, when I run them into the ground, who's got enough left in the tank. You can rest tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow's the day off. You can get in the cold tub. Because if you work one guy now, it's a lot of reps for one guy.
Is it common, though, that you would maybe have 3 guys work in and say, let's get you out there and let's put all 3 of you through your paces?
I've watched through the window a few times, so I could say yeah.
Yeah?
And I was there rehabbing.
Yeah.
myself.
Sure.
But, yeah. Yeah. I think it makes it a little more competitive. And sometimes those workouts can kind of help you or hurt you. And even though, you could have had a bad day, but that doesn't mean you were the better player, and they end up choosing the guy who had a better day. That happens all the time with kickers. The kicker had a great day when we tried him out. Well, let's just go watch the tape of him too now. So These guys are sitting at home, so y'all, I want to check out shape. Who's serious? Who's been all in? I'm getting on a team. I know I am. It's just kind of amazing that AP is still this motivated to still play. I mean, man. Well, would you say he's in the top 5? People calling in saying 6, and I don't know what number he is, but man. Oh, man. Shoosh. You'll be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs here in a minute there, AP, man. Wow. I would have never imagined that he would still be playing in 2021. No way. That shows you the type of, freak of a nature type guy he is.
Let's see. He is. I can get this real quick, and I'll tell you where he ranks. The caller, I think, said 5th or 6th.
Yeah.
And that sounds right because I do think Frank Gore is 3rd.
Wow. See, I'd like to have Frank Gore in, too. They might even have him on the radar. He may not be the style guy they're looking for. But, yeah.
Rushing yards, he is career number 5, 14,820.
And Gore has 1,600, you said?
Gore has exactly 16,000. He hit that last year. Adrian Peterson is Barry Sanders is 15,269. So he's, what's that, 449 yards or so behind Barry Sanders. Maybe that's his motivation.
It is.
Hey, man, I'm going to pass Barry Sanders. Call me.
That is it.
Well, I got 9 games. Yeah, call me. Call me. Let me get it.
Elite dudes, they look at it, and he's trying to get to there.
Yep.
That's
He ain't gonna catch Frank Gore at this point, I don't think. But he could get Barry. Hey man, outrush Barry Sanders. I think that's what he wants on his resume.
Yeah.
All right, when we come back,
that's
we got to do our ding dong of the week. We'll also continue to take phone calls. Lines are loaded 615-737-1045. Mark Spain real estate hotline is full. We'll take calls all day, anytime we got a chance. And again, coming up next, ding dong of the week on Blaine and Mickey.
Brent Doherty here to tell you about a new mobile brake repair service I'm really excited about called New Brakes. New Brakes will send a certified brake tech wherever you are to fix your brakes. They're more affordable than dealerships and repair shops, and they're backed by thousands of 5-star reviews. Go to newbrakes.com. That's nubrakes.com. Get an instant online quote, choose your repair date, then they come to you to fix your brakes. We all have things to do and sports to watch, right? So go with the convenience of New Brakes. That's nubrakes.com.
Final game of the NFL, Week 8. Gosh, here we are, and it's tonight. MarkSpain.com. That's where you go to get a guaranteed offer on your home and start packing. We appreciate Mark Spain sponsoring this. Time for Ding Dong of the Week. We'll give our ding dongs, and then we'll take some more of these phone calls about Derrick Henry.
And if you got a ding dong, you can call in too when the line gets available.
Right, slip a ding dong in as well. Lucas Panzica, Ding Dong of the Week. What you got?
I have thousands of ding dongs this week.
Wow.
My ding dongs of the week are every single Colts fan that started streaming out of Lucas Oil Stadium the moment Carson Wentz threw that pick six to Elijah Molden. They showed it on the TV broadcast. Mike Keith, Coach Mack were talking about the way that stadium started to empty out in that moment. And Mickey, you and I were in here. We looked at each other like, dude, there's 90 seconds left in the game. It's a one-possession game.
There's plenty of time for them to get another PI.
And that's exactly what happened.
No.
And we went to overtime. And the Colts should have won the game, to be quite honest. They had many chances to. So my ding-dongs of the week are for fans, the fans in Indy that left thinking the game was over when their team was getting the ball back with a minute and a half left, down 7.
You can't leave, guys. You can't. You can't leave a game early. You don't. There were people who left the Music City Miracle game early.
Now, accountability is important. I did leave the Tennessee game when stuff started flying onto the field, and technically that game was not over. Tennessee had 3 timeouts left, but 30-minute delay, I had to get out of there. There was mustard raining down, so I'm excusing myself from that one.
By the way,
oh, man.
okay,
I give you a ding-dong.
You are 100% a ding-dong for admitting that.
That's fair.
You can't call them out and go, well, I did the same
That's
thing.
fair.
But
Because I was afraid of mustard.
He was afraid, of mustard.
He's not afraid of mustard. He's been hit
Or a
with worse than
mustard
that.
bottle.
I mean, it was plastic. It wouldn't hurt you that bad. Blaine Bishop, ding-dong, what you got?
I'm just going with ding-dong of another nature, and that is refereeing is tough, but I mean, man, come on. I don't know how we can make refereeing better. I'm not a big complainer of anything of the refs, but I keep seeing major F-ups all over the place. Yeah, so I don't know, maybe make them full-time, and then they do a lot of training, and you got to make sure they meet the training requirements or something. I don't care if it's a running test. If you can't make it, you can't be a good ref. You're not in the right position to see the call. So I don't know. They need to do something because having replay is not helping them. They had to even do a replay on a catch. That was easy. Everybody saw it in the whole stadium but them.
And Vrabel called him out for that.
Like, how many referees do you need on the field? Because we want 10 of them out there?
And whatever it takes, and a replay guy. None of them got it right. Vrabel stood right in the middle of the field. He caught a ball, and I had to challenge to get the catch.
Yeah. Man, people's lives is on some of these referees, man. They got to do better.
Okay.
It's some breaking news?
Yeah, we don't have to speculate anymore.
With the Titans? Well, what's a breaking news sound?
Let's hear it. We got the breaking.
Breaking Titans news on 104.5 The Zone.
That's very nice. Ian Rappaport. That's not making my head hurt worse at all in my headphones. Ian Rappaport, source, the Titans are signing free agent running back Adrian Peterson, putting him on the practice squad, then elevating him to the roster, which means they have to cut somebody because the roster already has 53 people on.
Whoa.
Adrian Peterson. One of the GOATs. Number 5 all time, gentlemen, with less than 500 yards to go to pass Barry Sanders, who there are a bunch of you listening who grew up thinking Barry Sanders was the absolute greatest thing. Fantastic running back, Barry Sanders, and he has a chance to get him if he can compile a few yards this year.
Man.
Adrian Peterson.
That was quick. So they did a workout already?
Yeah.
Or did he do a workout?
Hey, man, send us a video of you jogging. Hey, man, send us a video of you, do some starting and stopping. Have your kids throw you a couple of passes and just let us see that you're breathing. Like, put a mirror up.
Don't just look at him without his shirt on because he's going to look like,
No, that's going to suck you in. Yeah.
He's going
like a statue. Yeah.
But, I mean.
It's a picture with your shirt off.
I don't think he would be too much worse than last year. They didn't even have him work out then, huh? Or did they? They said he brought him in for a workout, right?
Well, Mike Vrabel said today they knew something had happened last night. And I'm paraphrasing. Blaney basically said, yeah, we knew something happened last night and we'd have to get it fixed. So let's just say they knew last night he's going to be out for a while. So at that point, did they go in a room or get on the airplane and go, okay, who can we call? But, dude, what time is it? It's 1:51 in the afternoon. Where is Adrian Peterson? I mean, where is he living now? I mean, a bunch of dudes live here. Maybe he lived here.
That's a less than 24-hour turnaround right there.
Yeah, that's fast.
That is fast.
Yeah, I don't know where he lives
He
now.
must have had his agent on speed
I
dial.
don't even
Maybe
know
they
if
have the
Henry
same
got
agent.
hurt 24 hours ago.
Well,
Because, noon game, and it's 1:50 on a Monday. I don't even know if it's been 24 hours since the injury happened.
Oh, well, it was in the
Yeah,
afternoon.
close.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
they probably knew before they let the public know. So they probably knew something was up immediately after the game, after he did an MRI or something. Now they said, oh, well, let's confirm it with another MRI that's here in Nashville. But they knew he was going to be out for a little while. So whether it was 2 games, 1 game, or 8 games, they knew he was going to be out.
man,
So this was their contingency plan. They called his agent probably immediately. I don't know. I wonder who his agent is. I wonder if his agent the same agent as JR or Vrabel.
it could be for sure.
Because that happened so fast as you guys are talking. Wow.
That game didn't end until like 3:30 because it went to overtime. It's 1:52.
Yeah.
So you got to get in the locker room. You got to speak to the media. Vrabel did that. I'm sure John Robinson and all those guys were. As soon as they saw what happened, they have to start looking through their Rolodex, and their phone, and say, okay, what could we do? Who could we get? But my gosh, that's a fast turnaround. But they didn't have to trade anybody. They'd spent no trade capital. They're signed to the practice squad first, which honestly I'd have to look, but they would have to have 53 people on the roster. So some dude's about to get summoned to the office, so you can make room for Adrian Peterson.
Sergeant.
Probably.
Because he hadn't played yet, and they keep, cutting him, putting him on the practice squad,
Yeah,
still not dressed. I mean, man, so you're just an insurance policy.
Adrian Peterson. Wow.
So we were talking about him, yeah.
In a Titans uniform.
Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised at all. He wore a Detroit Lions uniform. So it doesn't get any lower than that. It doesn't get no lower than that.
Redskins. Well, football team now, but he was a Redskin. Oh, my goodness. All right. Well,
They brought me in when I was a free agent after the Titans cut me out. But yeah, I sat down with dinner with Hugh Millen and everything. And I'm just like, Detroit Lions in my mind. I just could not grasp it.
was this after you tore your abductus longus or before you went to Philly?
Oh, before I went to Philly.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I was like, I just could not.
You could have played on Thanksgiving.
They offered a good deal, and I just kept saying, and this is like you're at the end. No.
Man, even then, the Lions was a bad destination.
Yeah, it
You
was.
could have played on Thanksgiving, Blaine. I could have watched you on
I don't even
Thanksgiving.
remember who the quarterback was.
We have to look this. Scott Mitchell. I don't know. We have to look this up.
No,
All right.
he was not
Hour
there.
number 2
Might
coming
have
up.
been Dan Orlovsky.
May have been. John Glennon coming up. We will get back to phones. We'll do it in the first segment of the next hour, I promise. So if you're on hold. We will get to you. Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. We'll be right back.
The Titans just, you know what they did? The Titans just swept the season series against the Colts.
Snap, set, kick. Yes! That was so good! Randy Bullock and the Titans with a treat at Lucas Oil Stadium.
Talk about it all day on Reaction Monday on your home for Titans football. 104.5 The Zone.
So you spend all this money on
Rabbit hat?
Out of her rabbit hat. Yes, that would have been a much better way to say it, but I'm not myself today. I'm all hopped up on Excedrin right now. She talked to Adrian Peterson on the phone with Adrian Peterson right now, who texted me right after his workout too. When Adrian Peterson tells me he is signing with the Titans. The workout was good. So they got that dude here. That injury was.
He was on a private jet last night.
Yeah. So he got jetted in at some point. The workout was good. It feels good to be back into football movement and to sign with a contender. We have big shoes to fill for Derrick Henry, who I feel was the front runner for MVP. But I'm looking forward to contributing to the running back room and helping the Titans win the division and to chase the ultimate goal of winning a championship. And like I said, she spoke to Adrian Peterson right after his workout too. I asked Peterson his thoughts on potentially facing the Rams' Aaron Donald and now Von Miller primetime in his first game back. And he said, well, expletive, that's a whole different story. I'll be ready, though. And there was an expletive before that, the poop. Yeah.
Oh, I thought he would have said, well, I think they would also have to look
Face
forward
me?
to playing me. Yeah, that would have been my response. Yeah, because they actually have to face the offensive lineman. I just got to run through the holes, hopefully, that they make. So, yeah, this thing keep on ticking.
That's the first
One
thing you
freak
said.
of nature to the next.
That's the first thing you said, though, was nothing changes. He runs what? Okay. Yeah, just keep the train rolling.
Yeah, he's a zone runner. He may not be the breakaway that Henry and nobody is, but hey, we just saw some highlights of him with the Detroit, the Redskins, or the my bad.
He was a
Washington
Redskin.
football
That's
team.
fine. He was a Redskin.
Yeah,
he was what he was.
So yeah, he looked man. You said he's what, 36?
36.
Wow, pretty remarkable. So maybe that's what drives him. He said the division, and a contending team, as well as moving up on the list of all-time rushing yardage. So, yeah. So it seems like a good fit. How quickly can he learn the offensive play calling? And really, he probably can learn that pretty quick. But can he learn the adjustments when Tannehill changes the plays a lot.
Can. Yeah.
Yeah, can you catch that?
Yeah.
Instead of him have to go tell you, whisper in your ear in a loud stadium.
Hey, man, this is what you got to do.
What you saying, then obviously you see him going the wrong way. That could happen, man. Hey, man, I thought that was the other one. So, yeah, so nothing stops the train from moving. Yeah, it keeps on going, even when you're the king. Mm-hmm. We'll bring in a former king. You're the son of the king, but this was the original king, and he still got something left.
And when we talk about Derrick Henry, a lot of time, the only comp that we've sort of figured out for him was Adrian Peterson. Literally, that's the past guy that we have always, me at least, and we've talked about this a lot. That's kind of his comp is Adrian Peterson. So you just signed the older version of the king, like you said, the old king.
Yeah, the old king. So now you probably won't get those 80-yard runs, but you may get some 50-yarders in there. I mean, he still got some giddy up to him, straight line. So their styles are somewhat similar. And he's a zone read gap runner type player. So, yeah. Every now and then I used to like him in the I formation, though.
Mm-hmm.
With a fullback. So he can do either one.
So for people who say, oh, yeah, I mean, they're just going to hand in the ball. Because people always go, I switched positions in high school. I was the linebacker, and my friend Ted got hurt. I played running back against, the county technical high school, and I got 170.
Yeah, I did that too.
What? Right. You did. And played running back in college, too.
Mm-hmm.
What's the challenge for Adrian Peterson to come in here? This is a guy who's played for multiple teams, multiple systems. Is it because he knows what everything is, but he has to learn what you call it, right?
Yeah. He has to learn the verbiage. I mean, that's really it. And he's going to be a, run first, second down guy. I don't think they're going to try to keep McNichols in his role.
Third down guy.
You may start McNichols maybe just in this case because it's real quick. How quickly does he pick up the scheme in the system, and everything else just to make sure he's on point, with things. But I think it'll be an easy transition for what role they want him. If he's in shape, it's ready to rock and roll. It's like if he was Derrick Henry back there, just he's not going to be Derrick Henry. But he can show glimpses of the old AP for sure. He surprised me every time I see him when he was with Detroit. I was like, oh, dang, he looked like a little bit like the old AP.
Flashes of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So just to hold the fort for, the rest of the season and into the playoffs, yeah, I think it's a great option. If you don't like that, then go pick up another guy along the way, and then maybe split, duties with both of those guys.
Go sign Foreman, too. Heck, sign Frank Gore. Sign whoever you want. Yeah, add another guy.
Yeah, I think I would go for Foreman. It just seems like they don't like Sargent. I don't know why. Like not that they don't like him. I think they just see him as an insurance policy. Like, they never want to put him in at running back. Like, we'll put you on special team, and if somebody goes down, I mean, 2 people go down, then we possibly may put you.
Do you think they're afraid of his blitz pickup? Because that would be a thing that would keep a guy off the field, right? If they're worried he's going to get the quarterback killed.
Yeah, he's been here long enough, so I would think they would know better than us.
Yeah,
what the issues are. I don't know. I don't know if it's just they don't think he's an elite runner. I would say give him a shot, man. He shows some powerful running that I hadn't seen in a long time. Granted, it was preseason.
Yeah.
People say what they want about preseason, but he did do it in preseason. He didn't get an opportunity to do it in the regular season, and he showed out.
He was zero screwing around, too. He took the ball and hit the hole as hard and as fast as he possibly could.
He was running over his own line. He was like, hey, get out the way.
I'm trying to make the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to get you to move.
I'm not saying he should be the starter or anything, but I think for a third option, I wouldn't, get us through. Might get down for a play or two. Go out there. Mm-hmm.
Let's take a couple of these phone calls on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Let's get Chris up first. Chris, thank you for calling Blaine and Mickey.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Yeah,
you got
in the spirit of competition. See if they can't bring Barry Sanders in for a workout. That way the two of them can go against each other.
Well, that'd be something.
Now that
in full disclosure, Barry Sanders is my favorite running back. So.
He's a lot of people's favorite, dude. Barry Sanders was fantastic, Chris. Thank you for the phone call. Yeah, Barry Sanders was much fun to watch as anybody who ever played.
Yeah,
as Coach Mack said, he told my guys, don't chase after him. Just wait. Let him come back.
Yeah, he'll come back to you.
He'll come back to you. How funny is that? Don't chase him. He'll come back.
Well, I played against him.
See, sometimes I talk about old guys, and you're like, I didn't play against Jim Brown. You're crazy. So
I got his last year, and we put in this crazy scheme. And I'm like, what the heck are we doing? And like, don't come inside, guys who have contained. Just stay out there because he wants to act like he's running inside, and he wants to bounce it outside.
How did that work?
It worked out pretty well. We won, and we held him under, I know for sure, under 100. So look up 93 Oilers versus the Titans. Versus the Lions. And see, he didn't get 100 for sure. I don't even think he had 60. They did a heck of a job, man.
Okay. That's a good scheme.
Yeah, I was still on the sideline watching a lot of that. So I got but then I did get in the game, on defense.
Right.
So I got to get to see that. I went and ran up to him like, hey, Barry, because, I wanted to be a running back. I knew all his stats.
That was your guy.
How much he lifted and squatted and benched. So I tried to get all of that when I was in college, in high school. And then, he's just like, oh, good job, Blaine. Just ran off. He's like, I don't know who you are, bro. Good job, Bishop. That's what he said.
Good job, 2-3.
Yeah. Whoever you are.
Let's squeeze it. Yes, young fella. Bill in Spring Hill. Thank you for calling Blaine and Mickey.
Go look up them stats, man.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
Blaine, beautiful day in Middle Tennessee, as always, brother. Glad you're taking my call. Blaine, you just took a little bit away from me, man, when you brought up Sargent. That little dude, he got in there during the preseason. He busted his butt. He done everything he needed to do to make the team. I don't know if he's on the practice squad or sitting on the 53 or whatever. He needs to have a chance to get out there and roll. Now, you can say better than anybody, a hamstring injury with Julio, it's going to be hard to come back and play the rest of the season and get him back to where he needs to be. But, hey, I hated to hear that. I went from a high to a low to a wow about Peterson. Ooh, let's see what happens now, baby. We'll listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's probably how a lot of fans are. They went on this roller coaster ride of what we're going to do now. And panic sets in, as you were mentioning. But the team isn't. The players aren't.
No, they're going to do their job. That's why I wanted to ask you. By the way, Ian Rappaport says, Mike Vrabel came on today, said Derrick Henry, if you're just getting in the car, Derrick Henry will have surgery on his foot tomorrow. He was unsure of a timetable. Ian Rappaport, who also reported the team is signing Adrian Peterson, reported it would be 6 to 10 weeks. And so if you go, okay, how much of the season is left? literally 9 games and a bye week, exactly 10 weeks for the Titans. So the Titans have found some insurance in Adrian Peterson. The trade deadline is tomorrow. You sign Adrian Peterson, you're not trading for anybody. You may sign another guy like Deontay Foreman or somebody who's available as a free agent, but at this time, I sure don't see him trading for anybody.
Right. Well, let's put that in context for a running back. They
Oh,
could still be
yes.
trading for something else.
Not for running back.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Mm-hmm. They could still be trading for something else. So I doubt if they do, but yeah, I don't think they're going to ever probably trade for a running back because you get, somebody to fill in. But
he's got number 5 all time.
Yeah, but he's he's a zone read guy, so he fits the style they want. Yeah, it's just a match made in heaven for some. As long as he got something in that tank, we ready to rock and roll. We won't miss a beat.
I hope it goes better than the Randy Moss experiment, at the end of his career.
Oh, do not say that.
Well, he'll get opportunities, unlike Randy Moss. He didn't really get much of an opportunity here, but Adrian Peterson.
Playing, yeah. So yeah. I want to see him in there, though. I'm confident. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I don't know why a 36-year-old running back to make me feel, okay, I think we can get by.
We're going to run. John Glennon is set to join us next. We'll talk about all of this with John Glennon, who covers the Titans beat and has since the beginning. He's with Sports Illustrated now, and he joins us next on Blaine and Mickey.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-878-6993. 800-878-6993. 800-878-6993.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, this is Blaine Bishop. As a former professional athlete, I know what it takes to work with the best. Let me tell you about my friends at Master Staff Global Employment Solutions. At Master Staff Employment, they have consultants locally in the market working with actual candidates to handpick the absolute best applicant for your company's job openings. The reason most companies today are having a hard time finding quality candidates is because companies are using a third-party vendor to find resumes instead of actual people. Well, at Master Staff, their team uses the human connection of working with the right person and not just a bullet point on a resume.
They've replaced him, though, with a future Hall of Famer for sure, and Adrian Peterson. Josina Anderson reporting that he did work out for the team, that she spoke to him afterwards. So that was a quick workout that got put together. John Glennon joins us now at Glennon Sports on Twitter with Sports Illustrated. John, this was the express lane because this whole deal happened less than 24 hours ago now. Adrian Peterson has apparently already worked out and been signed by the Tennessee Titans.
Things happen very quickly here. Yeah. It was pretty fascinating. There's never any kind of a good timing, obviously, for a huge injury to a star back. But, for the Titans, boy, they had won 4 straight. They'd opened up a 3-game lead in the AFC South. They're on top of the AFC overall. And, next thing you know, they're without their MVP candidate at running back. And, you think, okay, it may take some time before they figure out the plan, before, they know what's going to happen next. Well, it certainly looks like Adrian Peterson, even if all the T's aren't crossed and the I's aren't dotted, he's certainly on his way to joining the Titans, and it appears that he'll be starting on the practice squad, and then I don't think it'll take long before he is on the roster. So, yeah, wow. You bring in a legend to replace a star, and we'll see how much left in the tank that the legend has, right?
Yeah, and Blaine and I were talking about this because there was a lot of speculation even as of this morning that would happen. And we kind of came up with this. He's less than 500 yards away from Barry Sanders. I mean, the running back position in the NFL is just such a hard position to play. There's not much of a life expectancy. This guy's been a freak now for so many years and able to continue to play and be productive. But all we could think about was, gosh, that shiny thing off in the distance, passing Barry Sanders for 4th all time would be a pretty big accomplishment for anybody. And at this point, he's got 9 games left. Maybe he could do it.
Yeah, I think they have to bring in, I think the idea is certainly, somebody who's used to a considerable workload now. I'm not saying they're going to plug him in and say, okay, carry 25 to 30 games like Derrick Henry did, but he is similar in a lot of ways to a Derrick Henry in that he is kind of the bruising back, the bully back, that's comfortable running inside and comfortable with contact. In fact, Derrick Henry has been, compared numerous times over the years to Adrian Peterson in terms of workload and in terms of, durability and so forth. So I think it makes a lot of sense. You're not gonna take a scat back out there and send him into Derrick Henry's place. So makes a lot of sense. And Adrian Peterson. It seems like we've been saying, boy, Adrian Peterson is completed a marvelous career. So many times, and certainly thought so again last year when he finished up in Detroit. But guy's 36 years old, and he still carried 156 times last year. So. Assuming he was still keeping himself in good shape, he is certainly the type of back that the Titans need at this point. Now it's just a matter of, again, how much is left in that tank at this point.
Yeah, well, Titans are about to find out for sure. John Glennon will be covering it every step of the way, as he has for this team since the beginning. John Glennon with Sports Illustrated, our guest here on Blaine and Mickey.
Well, JG, thanks for coming on. Vrabel said there's no timeline. I guess he said doctors like to have timeline. What did you take from what he was saying from about the timeline for Derrick Henry, the King, if he's going to come back?
Well, we all know that Mike Vrabel's one of his favorite topics is not injuries. We know that. Now I have to give Mike Vrabel a little bit of credit today. He was I thought a little bit better. I thought it was going to be a case of 30 media members trying to pull a single tooth from Mike Vrabel, but he was pretty good and informative today, I thought. But at the same point, he's been consistent over the years in saying when it comes to timelines, he doesn't like to use them with players. Part of the reason is, that puts expectations, on players. If they feel like, okay, everybody's saying I'm supposed to be back in 3 weeks. Well, I got to really press. And even if I'm not feeling 100%, I've got to get back in the lineup. Sometimes that's not the best idea. And just in general, we all know that people respond differently, in everyday life to whether it's injuries or sickness or whatever. So he doesn't like timelines whatsoever. Most of the information that we can read on a Jones fracture, or what we've seen, just from various internet reports on physicians that are already speculating, that it's generally a 6 to 10 week process. I've often heard 8 weeks, which obviously is right in between there. The question at that point, okay, yeah, you're talking about maybe at the very tail end of the season and playoffs, but at the same time, I don't think it would be fair to expect Derrick Henry to step back in from a long time off, a couple months off and rehab and so forth, and say, okay, 25 carries today, Derrick, you ready to roll? I don't think it'll work like that. If indeed he is able to come back. So, Mike Vrabel said there's a chance. There's always a chance, but I think it's going to be awfully tough for Derrick. But we all know if anybody can return and rehab well, boy, Derrick Henry is the guy to do that.
Man, this is big news, of course, but man, this kind of overshadows the huge win over the Colts. It became second fiddle, which is really kind of interesting just from this view.
Yeah, it really does. Like I say, you couldn't have asked for the Titans to be in a better place at this point. I think maybe 3 weeks ago when everybody was looking at the schedule and saying, oh boy, Buffalo, Kansas City, at Indy, at the Rams, yikes, what's things going to look like here in a few weeks? Well, here they knocked off the first 3 in a row. They're the top seed right now in the AFC, 3-game lead in the AFC South. And all of us, just when you're saying, oh boy, the Titans, they got everything rolling for them right now. Then you got this happening. So I think the challenge now for the Titans is, to find ways to adjust. As Mike Vrabel said today, you're not going to completely overhaul the offense. You can't do that at this point in the season. It's not like you can ask the NFL for a 3-week minicamp break or anything like that to overhaul the offense. So it's a matter of what amount of changes you can do. And let's face it, we know that the Titans made several additions to the wide receiving core this offseason. Whether it was Julio Jones, whether it was Josh Reynolds, and Marcus Johnson and Chester Rogers too. Well, now is obviously going to be a time where that's going to be relied on more so than it was. So, is that passing game improved? Can the Titans get Julio and AJ both going at the same time? I think those are some of the questions that we'll now be asking about the Titans.
Yeah, first and foremost, let's ask, how was Tannehill after the game and today? And then, really he's going to be the guy that has to step up to a certain extent because they may ask a little bit more out of him.
Yeah, I agree. And we've talked about this before, but, there's always kind of been that nagging perception. I think it's really more of a national perception on Ryan Tannehill that, hey, don't try and tell me how good this quarterback is. All he has to do is either hand off to Derrick Henry or use play action with Derrick Henry. In other words, again, I think it's more of a national storyline that, Ryan Tannehill isn't much of a quarterback without Derrick Henry. I think personally, and I would think you guys might agree as well, that we've seen better than that from Ryan Tannehill in his tenure here. But that is really, he is really going to get that opportunity now to show people that it's not just Derrick Henry, it's not just play action with Derrick Henry, that he is, that he is a changed quarterback from years in the past, and that, the Titans can rely on him, jump on his back a little bit more than they have been in the past, and it's a real chance for him to kind of disprove that nagging national storyline about him.
We're on with John Glennon, Titans writer, and you can go check him out at glennonsports@gmail.com.
So, John, we were trying to figure out tomorrow's the trade deadline. Would they make a move at any position? Then Derrick Henry gets hurt, and we think, gosh, do they make a move there? Obviously, they signed a guy off the street in Adrian Peterson, one heck of a guy off the street, a future Hall of Famer. Do you think maybe they won't trade for a running back now, but is there another position you could see them making any kind of a deal, even with a later round pick or possibly even a player to try to strengthen up another position?
I guess anything is possible. I kind of lean against, for one, this happens, and I'm certainly guilty of it myself as well. But, we in the media and fans, we often get so charged up about the NFL trade deadline, and generally very little happens at the NFL trade line really for any team. Doesn't mean it won't happen this year, but I think for one thing, the Titans are going to be getting healthier, presumably as the year goes by, and guys like Bud Dupree will be getting better. Kristen Fulton, will return at some point. Julio Jones will be getting better as well. So some of the areas that they've had difficulty with, I think, should be helped as the weeks go along. And then also, I think you have to look at the fact that I'm not sure that the Titans want to give up much in the way of draft picks. Let's be honest, they haven't had great success in the last two drafts to this point with their picks anyway. So I'm kind of in the mode of thinking that they probably need every pick that they can hold on to at this point, because they got to start hitting on a few of these draft picks. So I kind of lean towards not, a big deal, but who's to say? We know that Trader John is a good man for surprises. So you never say never when it comes to John Robinson.
It's interesting for Todd Downing. He knew going into every game of Derrick Henry, he's going to get the ball X amount of times, and as we all watched, he got it a lot on first down. He got a lot on second down. Maybe this forces him into some real creativity. I know you're not going to change your identity, but you might do some different things within your identity. But that's a heck of an opportunity for Todd Downing. That's at least the way I'm choosing to look at it.
Yes, we hope Todd Downing is looking at it in the same way and not banging his head against the wall instead. But, yeah, I mean, the Titans, as we all know, it was kind of a unique offense in a lot of respects in the NFL because it was kind of a throwback, and so much of that was based on Derrick Henry, whether it was his runs or the play action, which would open up, holes over the middle for A.J. Brown or whoever to get open. So, yeah, it's going to be, as I said, earlier, I think it's going to be a real test to a lot of different players and positions and coaches now. Okay, Todd Downing, are you a good offensive coordinator, or was Derrick Henry helping you out a lot in that respect? Ryan Tannehill, as we talked about, are you really a good quarterback, or were you reliant on Derrick Henry to a large degree? Offensive line, were you a good run-blocking offensive line, or was Derrick Henry helping you out in that area? So, yeah, I think it's going to be a real test, for a lot of, as I say, players and coaches. And it's not fair to say, if they can't do it with the replacement guy now, well, they were no good to begin with. I don't think that's fair at all. But again, a chance, as you said, to prove themselves.
John Glennon, our guest from Sports Illustrated, SI.com. He is at Glennon Sports on Twitter, covering the Titans.
Well, JG, man, there was a lot of things going on in the Colts game, and what a great game to watch, even though it was up and down from both fan bases. But where do you think the turning point was in the game that, you thought, the Titans, this play here is going to be a difference maker down at the end of the game?
Yeah, boy, there were so many turning points in that game. There really were. I think the Titans' ability to at last, or to answer back after they were down 14-0, that comes to mind immediately because, to me, as we've seen in the Derrick Henry offenses over the years, they'll still run that same offense, even 2 scores down. Then maybe when it hits 3, if it ever got to 3 scores down, or if it gets late in the game, 2 scores down, that's when they change. But when they were able to trim the Colts lead and not to let it snowball right away, I think that was very, very important for them. I think just getting, we've seen this defense get some more significant stops, third down stops, and occasionally fourth down stops, as we saw one yesterday, a big one. That's different than last year. I think we're seeing more significant stops in that regard than we did a year ago. And again, we saw one in overtime yesterday, and that's what leads to the game winner. But boy, yeah, talk about back and forth, and I think one other storyline too in that game was it was a real test to me for really how well Carson Wentz was playing. He had some pretty good numbers going into that game. I think 11 TDs and just one interception. He hadn't thrown an interception since I think it was week 2. And that was a real test yesterday. Okay, big game for the division. Are you going to make the big plays, or are you going to, be the same old Carson Wentz that we've seen the last couple of years? And unfortunately for Carson and the Colts fans, I think we saw a taste of the old Carson Wentz and a little bit of implosion there and some real critical moments.
Well, a couple of plays I feel like I need some help on. Just the questionable calls, and one of them was when Carson Wentz threw, I think, the 38-yard reception to Pittman more so in the fourth quarter. When the ball touched the ground, aren't you supposed to be initially down, even though his knee wasn't down? I wasn't sure of the actual rule. Me and Mickey talked about it yesterday, and we thought that he should have been down, even though they completed it never even looked at it. What is the actual rule of that? Do you know?
I don't have my handy rule book here, but I believe it has to be a body part. I believe you can use the ball in that situation, and it was very, very close. As you say, in addition to the ball being placed down, his knee was pretty close, very close.
I don't think his knee was down,
coming
though.
down. So I would have to go back and look at a rule book to be absolutely certain about that. But I think you're okay in that regard, and of course Carson Wentz for all his difficulties yesterday, that was one of his finest moments certainly, because not only does he get out of a jam there, but he throws the ball. It somehow arrives in the middle of about 3 or 4 Titans defenders to his guy yesterday, and allows the Colts to continue on that game tying drive.
And I guess the last one for me is being a former DB. The pass interference on Hooker. When they showed the replay, it looked like he barely even touched the guy, even though he didn't look back for the ball, which you got to do. But, man, seems like pass interference is actually becoming a weapon for Carson Wentz and his atomic bombs that he throws.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. As we've seen the Colts the past 2 weeks at least, that seems to be about a quarter of their game plan. Yeah. Send Pittman long, chuck it up deep, and either he gets a catch or a flag down there. And I think you're right. When I watched it live, that play, I thought, oops, oh boy, he just went down, and I'm sure they're going to get a flag out of that. When you watched it slower in replay, I think you're right. There wasn't much contact at all. I think the problem was when you're seeing it at quick speed, obviously like an official does, you see Hooker, who is very, very close to the receiver. The receiver goes down, and that, they on a pass interference play like that, they can't go back and look at it again, and that's just the kind of a knee-jerk reaction in that kind of situation. But yeah, pass interference plays and certainly roughing the quarterback plays, man, it is tough to play defense these days, because I think we all saw some calls on roughing the quarterback in the last couple of weeks that just barely touching a guy or giving him a little shove, and that's a flag. And man, I respect you guys playing, all you defenders out there. You guys have it rough these days.
Well, with JG, the legend from Virginia.
John, absolutely, John. Just a crazy day and a crazy time, and we appreciate you jumping on with us and taking some of the time with us. And here we go now, covering Adrian Peterson, just like you planned how this week was going to go on the Titans beat. Thank you, JG.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. John Glennon. Adrian Peterson just tweeted all period, day period, #Titans.
Oh, that means he's over at the facility all day studying film and learning to play. That's what he's talking about, people. That is what he's talking about.
All right, we'll go back to the phones when we come back. Some of you have been holding a long time. We'll try to get in every phone call before we go on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. It's Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone.
Yeah. Derrick Henry suffered a foot injury and is expected to miss 6 to 10 long weeks.
I'm always hopeful if anybody can, I guess, come back, it would be Derrick.
So what does this mean for the rest of the season?
We're going to continue to run the ball with whoever's in there. We're going to run our offense.
And will King Henry be back for the playoffs?
I'm not going to put any expectations on any sort of timeline.
For the very latest, keep it to your flagship for Titans Radio and home for Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry, touchdown!
1045 The Zone.
Maybe you've been dreaming of lake life. Heck,
28. I don't know who's 26 on offense. Can't recall anybody with 26. If I was making a guess, that's sort of be guessing.
Let's see. What number? Yeah, I mean, people are definitely waiting. I mean, he could have a single-digit number now if he wanted one.
Ooh, he could.
I mean.
That would be special. Yeah, just go with the long number 1.
24 is Elijah Molden. 28 is Jeremy McNichols. 29, Dane Cruikshank. So that's kind of where we are there.
26 is available.
26 is available. He could absolutely get that on the practice or injured reserve. 26 is Christian Fulton. What are we doing?
Oh,
Christian Fulton. We forgot about him a couple of weeks.
Because he hasn't played.
Because he hasn't played. So Christian Fulton still out there. And then the practice squad, let's see. Chris Jones is on there, 23. Jamal Carter is 25. So we all will just wait together to see what number Adrian Peterson
practice
gets.
Squad, those numbers can be taken.
Oh, no, yeah, I'm going to take that number, yeah. You wear it in practice. I'm about to wear it in a game.
But he could go single digits since, this is going to be temporary. Go with a single digit. Combine them like, you like 28. You could do, 10, 9, 8. 0.
The other thing he could do is...
What number is he on the list right now, on the all-time list?
He is number 5.
And you said he's, 400 and something from 4?
He's 400 and something from number 4. That Logan Woodside is number 5. Julio Jones is 2. Brett Kern is 6. Here's the one thing I thought about.
Nobody's 4.
No, nobody's 4. He could wear number 4, shooting for number 4.
Shooting for 4th all time. That's his number right there, 4.
Hey, bookmark this because Blaine may have just called that, Lucas. Because most of 20s are taken. Most of 20s are taken. So that you may have nailed this thing. Let's squeeze in a couple more phone calls because people have been kind to hold and wait. Alex and Dixon on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Hey, Alex.
Hey guys, hope you guys are doing well. One thing, I know this is crazy day for Titans fans, but I think I'm pretty hopeful for the rest of the season, and even I know it sounds crazy, but even for like a Super Bowl run, because I mean, if anybody can work hard to get back, the only person is going to be Derrick Henry. But what's the one thing that frustrates Titans fans the most? And to me, and from hearing from a lot of fans, I think it's the fact that we play up and down to our competition, and we kind of have that. If we're not the underdog, then we kind of play down. So now we're automatically the ultimate underdog without King Henry. So I mean, 2019, at the beginning of the season, I mean, everybody counted us out. Even Titans fans were like, yeah, this is it. And then by the end of the season, we were 20 minutes away from going to the Super Bowl. So.
Hey, Alex. Hey, buddy. We're really up against it. That's a great phone call, though. Thank you. I'm just trying to squeeze in as many as we can. That was a fantastic call. Make it quick. Let's get Mark and Jerry. Each of you got about 15, 20 seconds. What's going on, Mark?
How important is this for Darrington Evans? And how is he kicking himself right now?
Ooh, I know.
Well, he would kick himself, but he probably strained something.
Himself.
Yeah.
Strained him, yeah, because he's on IR and he's done.
He's done. He would become he would be the man right now.
Yeah.
Jerry and White Bluff finishing us off today, and I'm not trying to take a shot at him.
Hey, how y'all doing this evening?
Hey, Jerry.
Hey, I'm gonna make it quick. I know you're rushing for time, but I know it sounds crazy, but it might be a good thing that Derrick Henry is out for the season. I want to explain why, and I'll make it real quick. It's gonna make the rest of the players realize it ain't Derrick Henry fixing to go play the Jets. It ain't Derrick Henry and the Titans. It's going to be the Titans now. And I think it's going to make every other player step up and play to their fullest potential because they know their leader is gone. They're going to look around and go, hey, we better step up,
Jerry, maybe they will step up. I'm sure they would rather have Derrick Henry, though.
Yeah, they would. But as I said at the beginning of the show, that's the mentality they're going to take.
Step up.
This